You sit down to do the thing that would actually help. The email is open, the form is right there. Then your hand goes to your phone without deciding. 10 minutes later, you're reading something you don't care about. A lot of people think this is laziness. It's usually a relief habit. Here's what's happening in plain terms. A trigger shows up and your system reads it like danger. You delay, cancel, distract, or over-prepare. The moment you escape, the tension drops, and that drop teaches the escape. Over time, the avoided thing starts to feel bigger than it is. Not because it grew, but because your mind stopped getting normal, boring contact with it. So here's a simple way to respond when it starts. 3 steps, and each one is small enough to do while you still feel pulled away. Step 1 is name the loop. When you feel that first urge to bail, label it out loud as avoid mode. No debate, no analysis, just a label. Step 2 is cut the thread. Pick the smallest real version of the task and do 2 minutes. No extra protection moves layered on top. Step 3 is reset on repeat. Before you stop, schedule 1 repeat later this week. The timer decides when you stop, not the feeling. Those steps work because avoidance isn't random. It follows a few predictable moves that keep repeating. The first move is the relief payoff. Avoidance works fast. You feel the drop in your chest and shoulders almost immediately. That quick drop is the whole lesson your mind remembers. The second move is treating discomfort like a stop sign. You feel a tight pause before clicking send, and it gets read as don't. But discomfort is also what effort feels like when you care about the outcome. It shows up in the same place in the body. The third move is the safety move trap. You tell yourself you're being responsible, so you research, rehearse, or check one more time. It looks productive from the outside, but it keeps you from learning you can handle the real thing without padding. The fourth move is the disaster movie. A what-if thought shows up and suddenly you're watching a full scene in your head. It feels urgent because it's vivid. Then you act as if it already happened. Jordan is the kind of person who looks fine on paper. But Jordan has a tab that never closes. There's always one message not sent, one call not made, one application almost ready. And the checking itself starts to feel like the job. When Jordan finally sits down to write the email, the fire alarm goes off. Not a real alarm. The internal kind that goes off when you make toast. Loud, sharp, and completely out of proportion. That's why step 1 matters. Naming avoid mode turns a foggy feeling into a clear event. It stops the mind from treating the urge as an order. It becomes something you notice, not something you obey. This is the first cognitive micro-tool, the avoid mode label. The label is not a pep talk. It's a tag on a recurring state, and tags make states easier to interrupt. Then comes the part people quietly skip. They label it, feel proud, and still don't move. So step 2 is built to be almost insultingly small. This is the second cognitive micro-tool, the 2-minute timer. 2 minutes is long enough to break the spell. It's short enough that your mind can't demand a whole identity change first. The goal is contact, not performance. 2 minutes also has a rule: no extra safety layer added to make it feel clean. If the task is sending a message, it's a plain message. If it's a form, it's the first line filled in, not 3 hours of getting ready. A common detail here is the bargaining voice. I'll do it when I feel confident. I'll do it when I know the perfect wording. I'll do it when I have the whole plan. Confidence usually shows up after contact, not before. Waiting for it keeps fear in charge of the start. The disaster movie needs its own response because it has a specific texture. You notice your eyes lock, your breathing gets shallow, and the future feels loaded. This is the third cognitive micro-tool, the plain next step, not your whole strategy. One plain action that exists in the real world. Write it down in a basic sentence, then do it before you reread it. The plain next step cuts through the mental film. It replaces imagined outcomes with physical movement. And it lowers the stake from solve my life to do the next motion. Jordan's version of this looks simple. The disaster movie says, if I send this, they'll think I'm incompetent. The plain next step is, write the subject line and 1 sentence. 2 minutes, no polishing, then stop. Now, the mistakes that keep the loop alive usually sound reasonable. They sound like planning. They sound like being careful. The first mistake is the tomorrow promise. I'll do it tomorrow calms the nervous system today. Then tomorrow becomes another today. That promise becomes its own relief button. The second mistake is the protected half step. Endless research, endless note-taking, endless reorganizing. It creates the feeling of motion without contact. It keeps the task sealed off behind preparation. The third mistake is cutting deals with fear. I'll do it only if it feels easy today. That trains your system to expect comfort as the entry fee, and hard things rarely offer that fee. There's another quiet cost that doesn't show up immediately. Avoidance shrinks your life. Not in a dramatic way, in small choices that remove options. You don't send the message, so you don't get information back. You don't make the appointment, so the issue stays vague and heavy. You don't submit the application, so the future stays hypothetical. Then every attempt starts to feel like it carries your whole future on it. That's why step 3 matters. Reset on repeat is how you get normal, boring repetition back. Not a huge vow, a scheduled return while it's still fresh. When people skip the repeat, each attempt becomes a one-off event. One-off events feel like tests. Repeats feel like reps, and reps change the felt sense faster than analysis does. So the loop in a tight sequence goes like this. Trigger shows up. Alarm feeling hits. Avoid mode tries to exit. Label it, then 2 minutes, then one scheduled repeat. Not to feel better, but to stop feeding the escape lesson. Some days the 2 minutes will feel clean. Other days it'll feel clumsy and irritating. Both count. The timer decides, not the mood. If your mind tries to pull you into a safety move, notice the specific move. Extra checking, extra reassurance texts, extra rehearsing. Then return to the smallest real action that still counts as contact. The task stays imperfect on purpose. If your mind runs a disaster movie, don't wrestle with the plot. Drop to the plain next step. One sentence, one action. Then the next 2 minutes is just execution. Jordan started with the smallest version of the hardest thing. One email that was overdue. The first day was 2 minutes and a rough draft saved, not sent. Later that week, Jordan scheduled a second 2-minute rep and sent a plain, direct version. Nothing mystical changed. The alarm still showed up sometimes. But it got treated like a smoke detector with low batteries. Annoying, not authoritative. This is what most people miss. Avoidance is not a personal flaw that needs a deep personality overhaul. It's a short loop that gets rewarded by relief. And short loops respond to small interruptions repeated over time. If you're looking for the most practical start, make it almost boring. Pick one avoided thing that has a clear first physical action. When the urge to exit hits, use the label, then do 2 minutes, then schedule one repeat. The rest of the week doesn't need to be a transformation story. It just needs a few contacts that are real. A few starts that don't wait for confidence. A few endings decided by the timer, not the feeling. Avoidance grows when it stays unobserved. It shrinks when it becomes a named moment followed by a small action. And repeats turn high stakes back into just another rep. The alarm will still go off sometimes when you make toast. Some tabs will try to stay open. And the only thing that changes the feel is ordinary contact, repeated.